Welcome back. Today we're reading from the chapter Inner Spaces. And the title of the first poem is called Inner Spaces. Windows opaque in the early morning light, dew-drenched and uncertain, withhold functional reality. Like the business of streets and clocks, and my car off in some garage, lacking combustion. No doubt by noon, the windows will clear, and some mechanic will call with explanations. How simple it would be to make an analogy, to write off the fogged windows of my mind and the need for fire. How simple to end the poem so cleanly. But the day demands words to describe the parts of myself that don't interlock, and demands words to speak of spaces only guessed at, like the space that has so many names: longing, chaos, God. Space that may be annealed by a wind charm startled into existence, by the tenderness on the cheek of love, or by joy that crawls 10,000-legged across existence. All cherished, all applauded, but in the stillness of this fog-filled morning, I need words to fill in those inner spaces. The next one is called The Sentry. The cat pads softly behind me. Its white paws stain the black horizon upon which it moves with such resolution. I think of Don Juan's description of death as headlights over his shoulder. Looking back, I can see the eyes of the cat flickering with the light of some ancient fire. There's no mistaking him. His presence corresponds to my thoughts. Perhaps in some way I have called him, although I am unaware of any such power. Perhaps my breath has an odor that draws him as a baby is drawn to the nipple. I am attracted to him, to his alabaster body and his fluid, sure movement. Like a sentry, he assures me the land ahead is inhabited, for I desire continuity, consciousness in some form, awareness, reality unbounded by finite perception. Sometimes a poem comes to me, and I'm not sure where it comes from or what it means, and it takes a while even for me to figure it out. Here's one of those poems. It's called The Dreamer. She comes to the beach each evening at twilight, for that is when the portal between worlds is open. Her task is to gather rocks and shape them into questions she cannot name. She wants to be dainty about it, bending from the waist, the breeze fluttering her skirt about her, nibbling like fishes at the back of her knees. She gathers the rocks carefully. Each must be half the size of her palm and be distinctive. One must be flat and white and smooth. It is the most important one, for it is the key. There are always 7 rocks for the 7 directions of power. She arranges them carefully, sometimes piling them up like an altar, at times spacing them out in a pattern. When she has finished her task, she squats beside the rocks, hands resting on her thighs. Her eyes focus on the horizon. Perhaps this time there will come an answering echo. She has done what she could to make it so. Okay, the next poem isn't particularly philosophical, but I like it. It's called The Exit. I think it has chosen me for its assassin. For 3 mornings now, it has hung from the light above my mirror, eyeing me as I work my morning magic. It buzz-bombs my hair, crashes into the ceiling and walls, sees in my hand a quickening in the process my warm rooms retard. But I do not wish to do violence in the morning when my arms are full of dreams and I have sweet strategies under my tongue. Let the fly find its own way through some crack or door to the cold November air. Let it swim into its own order of things and leave the warm rooms to those who choose more complicated paths of knowing. Okay, this isn't a poem, it's a photograph by John that I want to show you. He took this picture as a 40-minute exposure in the night sky in his yard. And I was just fascinated by this photograph. It astonished me. This exposure of stars in the night sky looks like a vortex of motion as we circle past the stars. It's a testament to the miracle and mystery of existence, a mystery I embrace and savor when I contemplate my inner spaces. Here is the poem in focus. Night birds wheel in silk shadows on this sea of stillness. Here, conjecture gives way to cautious knowing, to the pensive certainty of spirits flying into music, as if it were a door, a chamber of the heart, where blood purifies need and sends us into the eye of being with joy. The next poem is one that I wrote. It's for a character in a novel that I never finished, but I like the character, and so I wrote this poem about him. It's called A Brave's Lament. See how I've become a woman, sitting by the fire, my bones gone cold. The wind has sucked out the marrow and goes whistling through my hollow spaces. I have lain with the panther, her sleek body covering me in shadows. She snatched my manhood and buried it on a high hill. Whether my eyes are the eyes of the sleeping, I cannot say, but I see shadows watching the spirit of my son with hungry eyes. They dance in the firelight, leaping as high as the mountains. I tremble now because I am old and have no arrows to save my son. Okay, this next poem is called A Hand in the Black Hole. It was inspired by Robert A. Monroe's book, Journeys Out of the Body. It just struck me as funny, so I had to write a poem about it. Here is A Hand in the Black Hole. A 180-degree turn, and he leaves his physical body prostrate on the bed. No longer tethered to gravity or to earthly expectations, his spirit goes exploring. Encounters a black hole with hard, smooth sides, and eternity scaled down bite size. He peers inside and finds it empty, a galaxy wind tunnel that could suck him out and leave him nameless. Curious, he sticks his hand inside, a tentative sally into the unknown. A hand within the hole grasps his hand and shakes it politely, a friendly greeting from someone somewhere out there. Next time we'll read from the last chapter of my book. It's called Remembrance. If you'd like to contact me, you can email me. You can also visit my website, lorrainesiegel.com.